This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Skip Money.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast of East Tennessee and Western North Carolina. So today I am very excited to have someone in our studio for the first time, and I'm sure you'll be just as excited as I am to learn all about them and their organizations. Because today I have the distinct pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Pastor Paul Harris, who is the founder of Knoxville Dream Center and Lost Sheep Ministry. Pastor Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, like I said, we're glad to have you and very excited to learn all about you and what you're doing at Knoxville Dream Center and the Lost Sheep Ministry. So if you don't mind, why don't you kick us off by telling us about your ministry?
Well, the Knoxville Dream Center was officially founded in 2014, kind of really birthed out of Lost Sheep Ministry, which is now about 35 years old. I was asked to step in about 2013 to assume the leadership of Lost Sheep, which my local church had a lot to do with getting started. And that is a local homeless ministry, very well known in our city. Very well branded. And so kind of the reason we had to go with the Dream Center is because some of the other initiatives we began to kind of, it wasn't necessarily homeless, and that's what Lost Sheep was known for. So really kind of the simple way to look at the relationship with Lost Sheep and the Dream Center is Lost Sheep really, like a parent, kind of helped birth the Dream Center, made that a little bit easier in a lot of ways in terms of resources already, facilities, things of that nature. But now really the child takes care of the parent. So Lost Sheep is really a program of the Dream Center. It's no longer the only thing. So in that, with the Knoxville Dream Center, which we have an app and a website where people can see really all that we do. I tend to leave out something here or there, but the backbone of what we do is food. We provide usually 200,000 meals or more a year in Knox County. We work with social workers in the Knox County school system, somewhere around 80 social workers. They say they come to us as a first stop many times just because of the ease and convenience of working with us. We have a meal program that goes to seniors. Also, we have a program, a home repair program called Nehemiah Projects that focuses the primary client or highest priority client are widows. We bend where we can, but widows is our top priority. And since 2020, we've handled over 500 requests for assistance. So,
wow,
those
over 500.
Yeah.
Wow. So, what sort of things like HVAC repair or broken door hinges or what? Just curious.
Yeah, it can be as simple as minor plumbing, minor electrical, thermostat issues. It could be a door. It could be I think I already said it, plumbing, but just minor things. And then the other thing that we get into, it kind of goes to both extremes. It can get really minor in some situations where we're dealing with someone that's much older that, they mess up their TVs. They do things that are just really simple, and there's no one close by, no grandkids, somebody that's not close by. Sometimes we go and say, hey, you hit the wrong button on the remote. Here's, there's times that we write up instructions, when this happens, go back and do this. It can be very simple, or it can go very much the other way. Yeah, it's an HVAC system and, there's no repair here. We got to get the full thing. Well, we get involved and we partner. We try to find, whether it's plumbing, HVAC, something. We have people that we've connected and built relationships with that we kind of as our first go-to. Roof. We don't do a full roof. But then what we do is we begin to be in the middle between that widow and the provider, to ensure, pricing and reliability and all those things. Again, when we found someone that works well with us, we don't really worry about that at all. However, there's times that, it may be a new provider, new something like that. And we're just there on behalf of the widow, looking out to make sure, they're not taken advantage of, that work's done right, that it's done on time, those types of things.
Wow, what a wonderful program, or multiple wonderful programs.
Yeah.
So, Pastor, tell us about your journey. How did you get started? How did you become a pastor?
Well, my life was radically changed at the age of 17, and just pretty well knew early on that I needed to do something, with my life. Felt there was a call, some sort, and you just start walking, being obedient, led in different ways, volunteered in youth ministry, volunteered in college ministry. My first full-time role in ministry was as a youth pastor, and in that time, a few years in, I made a trip to the Los Angeles Dream Center, which is the inspiration for dream centers around the world now. And it was there that I really knew and kind of picked up on, at the core of whatever I did, helping others was like a constant that kind of fulfilled me. So I began in 2002 with teenagers in a youth ministry, really serving widows in our church, and and then kind of tying with that young men who didn't really have a father figure around, that wanted to, use power tools or, learn different things, how to fix a sink, how to fix a toilet, and literally just started pressing into that arena by just serving widows in our church. And believe it or not, it was quite difficult. I would cold call widows that would tell me everything was fine, and I realized I wasn't getting anywhere. And then I said, well, here's the deal. I'm coming to your house this week, Tuesday or Thursday, which is best? And really just had to say, I'm going to come, and I'm just going to make a visit and then look. And if there's anything, and you would walk into a widow's home, and sure enough, a light bulb is out, a sink is leaking, they've got a pan under the kitchen sink, they've got a bucket under, a water valve at a toilet, or the toilet's running, and you're just like, and they're just not saying anything. They think somebody else needs it more. And from my trip to LA also was my first experience on what's called back then they called it a food truck, and it's really a food distribution. And that was something I always dreamed that we could do. And so in 2013, when I was asked to step into Lost Sheep ministry, which was, again, feeding a meal to the homeless once a week under a bridge, I wanted to take the food that we had coming in and maximize. And we started distributing that through our first food truck within just a few weeks of kind of taking the lead here. And upon giving away what we had in our facility on hand, starting to do that over the next year, the amount of food coming in literally increased by 300% in volume.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah.
Now, it's a very unique industry, I guess, or mission that you're running. But I'm sure there are some myths or misconceptions about what you do. Can you think of any of those that really stand out?
Yeah, that's a good one. First of all, too, just know that like everything we do is remote. So people do not come to us. We go into neighborhoods and areas that are what's called low income, low access, which means low income and usually more than a mile from a real food source like a grocery store. Boy, I could really get into all the reasons why that exists, but I won't go there. Probably the biggest misconception, and I find myself being defensive sometimes, even when I do not need to, but what I think people need to understand is, so a lot of times there's people that think, well, you're just making it easy for people to live this way. You're taking food to them. First of all, the food that we take out is food that is literally being thrown away by grocery stores. It's called rescue food. It's picked up from grocery stores that if it is not picked up through our partner, Second Harvest, which is very well known in this area, serves 18 counties, and they are amazing, this whole program. So that's where partnership is huge. I don't have the staff, the vehicles. They go get food, and we're not the only ones. But at any rate, this is food, number one, that's going to be thrown away. Number two, children are innocent. And anytime you're feeding a child who is at the mercy of a parent who is an addict or whatever it is, I don't think you can go wrong. So say you're keeping somebody there because you're making it easy. Kids deserve to eat. Our highest percentage of people we serve are seniors and children under the age of 17. And I've had it asked of me more than one time, how do you get these two groups together? And I'm like, it's really not that hard. It's grandparents raising grandkids. Incarceration, addiction, it's widespread. When you put that together with disabled, we're talking nearly 70% of the people we serve fall into that category. So elderly, disabled, or under 17. So, and two, you do not go and stand in a line for an hour or more before the food distribution ever starts if you do not need food. I'm not doing that. A lot of other people are not doing that. So,
Wow. Seniors and under 17.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So obviously you're extremely busy. This keeps you moving. If you do have any time for fun, what do you like to do in your off time?
It's pretty well known that I'm a enduro woods motorcycle rider. So I spend as much time as I can in the woods.
I hear you. Motorcycle rider.
Yeah.
Would have not guessed that. So if you could think of one thing, Pastor, that you would like our listeners, viewers to remember about Knoxville Dream Center, what would that be?
Probably the biggest thing is we strive for consistency, reliability, partnership. We really are not concerned about who gets the credit. It's about getting things to people who have needs. We make a big deal out of a lot of things anymore, this kind of giveaway or distribution and all that. And when you see a lot of those things, you see the players that get involved, the sponsors and all this stuff. And we create this massive thing. And we're just like, hey, if we have a pair of shoes in our warehouse, we're going to get them to somebody that needs a pair of shoes. We tend to turn things into, well, let's do a big shoe, It's like, how about, I know people that need shoes, just get them to us and we'll give them away. We don't have to have a commercial and a citywide thing. Let's just meet a need.
Just meet a need. Wonderful. Good thing to remember. And for those of us who are interested, would like to volunteer, would actually like to own a business and think we could partner with you in some way, how can we learn more?
Just our website, knoxvilledreamcenter.org. We also have an app. Pretty much, that's another one of our goals, is that you can pretty well accomplish anything you need through our app or website. Probably 90% of your questions can be answered. All of our opportunities to volunteer are available there. You sign up, show up, and we're in business. So not a bunch of hoops to jump through. We make it very simple.
knoxvilledreamcenter.org.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Very good. Well, Pastor, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to spend
Yeah,
some time
thank
with
you.
us and tell us all about the wonderful things that you're doing in our community. And we thank you for that. And again, appreciate you being here, and wish you, your ministry, the Lost Sheep Ministry, as well as the Knoxville Dream Center, all the best moving forward.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and we'd love to have you back sometime if that's possible.
Sure.
All right. Well, I was trying to find our outro here. Here we go. All right. We'll be in touch. Get you back
Thank
on the
you.
show.
Uh-huh.
This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Skip Money.